What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today I want to talk about the European and how the Europeans really don't like each other, right? We sometimes can be sadly mistaken, think that there's some sort of unifying force that gathers them together to do what they do. But honestly, it's their nature to do what they do. They're brand new human beings, and I'm talking from the fathers of civilization. I'm black, so we as Africans, we are the fathers of civilization. Period. Everybody else are our children. They're all of our children, biologically, genetically, on the world stage, right? So we've been around for about 7 million years. So African people have had a lot of time to be human, to learn how to be human, seeing how we are human, right? We had to learn how to problem solve, how to deal with each other, how to create governments that work, how to create societies that work. We had 7 million years to do it, right? And we've been through our own, our own shit, right? Europeans just got here. They're babies. So they don't know how to be human, especially since Europeans are pretty much Neanderthals. We always wonder, where did Neanderthals go? They're right there. Those are the Neanderthals. They're Neanderthals mixed with humans. Neanderthals mixed with humans. They know it. They're admitting it. Some of them are proud of it. It's not a derogatory thing that they're Neanderthals. They just are, which is a hominid. I mean, they are, right? But they're brand spanking new. They don't know how to be human, which history is evident that they don't know how to be human, because there's certain human things that should be inherent as human beings that, they just don't got, right? But overall, these guys don't like each other. They don't get along. They have issues. Black people, we get along. We fight, we bicker, we're disappointed at each other, we hurt each other's feelings. We do stuff like that, like a family, right? We're ignorant of each other, but we're only ignorant of each other because of them. Keep that in mind. It's all them is the reason why we have a lot of the problems and misunderstandings that we have now. But I want you to pay attention to this video, because I'm gonna put some clips together so you can see that these Europeans don't like each other. All right, they don't like each other at all. They hate each other. And if you look at the way they hate each other, it is very similar to the way they hate us. They act very similar towards everybody else that they've been acting towards themselves. We call it racism because we're a different race, but over in Europe, it will be xenophobia, right? It will be, I guess it was just nationalism or xenophobia, and religious, religious things. So once you learn this type of history and you learn this information, you could take the information, right, process it, and then you take all of that into consideration when operating and moving forward. So you pay attention to the past, pay attention to what's happening in front of you, take the information and you use it to go towards the future. That way, everything is put in context. You know what not to do, what to do, and how to move. Anyway, that's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn some teaching. I'm out.
Quick question for Europeans. Why are you guys so vicious to one another? Because sure, Americans, we get a lot of hate on the internet, but in general, that does not translate to in person. Anytime I go to Europe, people are so nice. You'll get the occasional kind of cheeky, oh, do you eat hamburgers every day? But it's never malicious, or it doesn't feel that way. But how you guys talk about other European countries is on another level. Like last week, I was in Spain with my husband and we took this sailboat trip, and there were about 4 other couples on the boat, and the captain is German, right? And one of the couples is Belgian, and I kid you not, 3 out of the 4 hours that we were on this boat, the Belgian couple and the German captain would not stop talking shit about every other European nation. The German captain, who mind you lives full-time in Spain and has for many years, would not stop talking about how much he did not like Spaniards, or how they're lazy, or how they can't cook, and all of this crazy stuff. Then the mere fact that I could speak French, so I could understand everything that the Belgian couple was saying in French, and I just mentioned living in France, then they wouldn't stop talking about how much they hated the French and how they're frogs, whatever that means. And this is not just a one-off experience. When I used to live in Spain, Spaniards would say almost the exact same thing about Germans, but the reverse. They would say son muy cuadrados, which is like they're hard-headed, they're really stuck in their ways, they're too punctual, I don't know. Or when I lived in France, they had all of these stereotypes about the British, and they even have a movie called LOL that was remade into like a Miley Cyrus version, but it's definitely different as the French version, that is just stock full of all of these English stereotypes. And I get it, like sometimes you all like to say that it's just banter, but sometimes it's genuinely so mean and vicious. And for comparison, as an American, You know what our stereotypes are about Canada? That they're really nice and they say A all the time and that they like hockey. And you know what we like to say about Mexico? Strong family values and great food. And if you're someone who's talking shit about Mexico or other Latin American countries for that matter, we're probably just gonna call you a racist. Like, I don't understand how it's so commonplace for you guys to talk like this about other countries. It just makes no sense to me.
Because somebody in the comments was like, yeah, there's a hair color hierarchy and it's colorism for them.
If I may shed some light on this, I believe that I have part of a reason as to why this exists. It goes back to East Europeans and West Europeans fucking hating each other. It's not racism because we're all white. It is prejudice, pretty extreme prejudice. US Americans are not taught about the history of Europe, so they don't know how much West Europeans fucking hate East Europeans. They think of us as less than, they think of us as stupider. It even translates into how Americans treat East Europeans. People with West European accents are always getting treated better than people with East European accents. It translates, you'll see it in that way. East Europeans tend to have darker features like dark brown eyes, brown hair, black hair, while West Europeans tend to have lighter skin features. So yeah, it's real, and it's still real in Europe like today.
The reason we have this immigration problem, and I don't mean the one that Donald Trump defines as a problem or that others define as a problem on the far right who are reactionary, you know, Minutemen at the border. I'm talking about the reason we have a narrative problem around immigration and the reason we have such vitriol aimed at folks coming across the border. But keep in mind, only one border, right? The Minutemen do not camp out in boats off the coast of Nova Scotia shooting at those crafty Canadians as they sneak into our country to take advantage of our superior health care. They don't do that. It's just down there at that other border, which I beg to remind you is an artificial border created at the outcome of a war, which was a war of aggression started on false pretense by this country. Not what they taught us in 8th grade, but now that is what happened. So really, folks are coming home. Can I get an amen? People are coming home. Right? They're coming home. They're coming home, and their families were here a long time before the vast majority of ours, and yet we tell them that they don't belong. Very interesting. The reason this is even possible, though, is because of the narrative we've told about how we, and now I'm talking about those of us of European descent, because black folks know how they got here. Right? A lot of Asian folk know how they got here. A lot of folks were brought over, particularly Chinese folk, to work the railroads, didn't care how many of them died. Right? Indigenous folks know how they got here. Right? But white folks have told a fiction. Right? White folks' story has basically been this: our people came for liberty and freedom. We came for principles like that. Those people are just coming for stuff. Right? That's what we say in so many words. We came for principles, they're coming for stuff. Let's clear this up. We did not come for liberty and freedom. And I know this because if we had come for liberty and freedom, we would have established liberty and freedom. And I don't just mean with regard to people of color, I mean each other. Like, white folks spent a lot of time in the colonies just trying to figure out who was the bigger witch, right? Like, we just would kill each other. Well, you know, it wasn't like one big happy white family. It was just, you're not a good enough Christian. No, you're not a good enough Christian. No, you're not a good enough Christian. Now I'm going to drown you because you're a warlock. I mean, that was the kind of, like, in a nutshell, that was the colonial experience. So that was not Schoolhouse Rock, right? Yeah, right? So we didn't establish liberty and freedom even vis-a-vis one another. Let's be honest, we came for stuff. We came for stuff like opportunity, stuff like land, stuff like the ability to survive because things weren't working back home. Like, we need to be honest about, like, our people were the losers of Europe. And I don't mean that, I'm not trying to be judgmental or harsh, I'm just being honest. Like when Donald Trump says Mexico's not sending their best, okay, you think England sent their best? The hell?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Americans. Yeah, well, not as much as me and the rest of the Germans.
They have no culture, no manner, no etiquette.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure what you guys said, but I'm having, like, the best fucking time.
Europeans keep proving how actually dim-witted they are. I think they really need to work harder at teaching political science to European children because they failed y'all. Babe, do you think the word state means a subdivision of a country? It doesn't. What do you think state means? A state literally just means a government. That's what it means, a government with sovereign territory. The United States as like a whole is a state. Canada is a state. Germany is a state. Countries are states. The United States is a federation, meaning this was a bunch of individual governments who came together to form one singular government, the federal government. We're a federation. Ooh. And if you don't want to believe me, here's the literal definition of a state: a nation or territory considered as an organized political community under one government. Germany, Italy, and other European states. I love how they put European state, cherry on top for the definition. Like, seriously, you Europeans need to come up with a better insult to Americans, calling us uneducated, because y'all prove every single day how awful your education system must be.
So why do you hate Europeans?
They're so fucking annoying. It's like, no, all they ever do is, America. Yeah. Also, they love to be like, you guys have a real race problem. And it's like, yeah, where do you think we learned it from, Peg? It's like, you guys
started this.
You guys started this. Like, you guys, it's like disgusting.
Also, the race problems in Europe are way worse.
They're way
very
worse.
openly racist in Europe.
They're also, not that cool. I'm sorry.
You don't know any Europeans.
Yeah. For sure.
No, yeah.
I'm a server at a restaurant that has a lot of Europeans that come in, a lot of French people can go fuck themselves. They sit around at the table all day. Oh, is there something wrong with this? Yeah, this is breakfast, bitch. Turn and burn. Get up. I got another table trying to make some money, okay?
Yeah.
You don't sit here for 4 fucking hours. This is in a cafe in Le Paris, okay? Get out. The only European people I like, and by the way, when I say European, I don't even know who's in fucking Europe, okay? I like Irish people. They're the only cool people.
I do like Irish.
Because they come in and they're like, oh, fuck this. That's not an accent.
Yeah, wait, try it again.
Okay.
Try it again. Just give it a go.
I'm scared.
Just give it a go.
Just give it a go. I like people from Scotland.
Yeah,
okay, that's UK.
But I don't like
United
So he doesn't
Kingdom.
like
so
England.
so it's just mostly England you hate.
I like British people when they're individual, but once they get grouped up, I go,
Oh, I actually am the exact opposite. When they get grouped up, they start singing, and I think it's probably American men's biggest weakness is that they never just start singing. You
What
never
do
see a man, like a grown fucking burly man, just be like, my favorite football team is the Patriots. I love the Patriots.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, hey, Tom Brady. You never see that, and that's because American men are weak.
You know what? I want to take it back. I actually am deeply attracted to the British people, and I.
We totally just had to do a 180 on this take, dude.
You said that.
He's like, actually, I just hate French people. Now that I
yeah,
think
that's
about
it.
it.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I do just hate the French. I really do.
Honestly, this is progress. We made him less racist overall today.
It's not racist to hate them.
Do you think Americans know that everyone hates them? Do you think they know? I mean, we don't talk about it nearly enough. And they're just so fat and stupid and also fat and stupid and racist, and we're not racists like Americans are racist. They're fixated on race. They're fixated on the idea that race is a thing you can identify, and I do think they know that we hate them.
We have been drinking since we were 9 years old. Maybe if you were having shots on your first day of primary school, you guys wouldn't have anxiety and be addicted to ice cubes. I was going to nightclubs when I turned double digits, so now I don't have an American addiction to air conditioning. When I was 2, I would have a soda drinking hat, but instead it would have beer in it, and I'd be drinking that as I walked. Try walking a little bit. You're such babies. Your streets aren't made of rocks. Like, what do you guys do when you're walking from Texas to New York City? Do you wind that whole way too? My parents, when they served us our dinner, plain sardines and 1 tomato, they would make us only drink wine. You have to be strong as a child because you have to be able to hold your friends' ankles as they do a keg stand in the hallway of school.
You dirty immigrants, you come here, you steal our jobs, you steal our money, you don't pay taxes. I want you out, go back. Okay, honey, chill, but I think your country has horrible food and is very expensive. How dare you insult my country like that? My bread and cheese and my fish and chips.
Mommy, it's raining outside. Can I not go to school today?
Of course, honey, no problem.
Mom, I think it's like a storm outside. Maybe it's better to stay at home.
Excuse me, what? You are not from sugar. You want melt. Hurry up. Oh my god, I'm really tired of these problems. I need to call my psychologist and discuss everything. So, as it said, if you have problems and all, drink a vodka till you fall.
What's your opinion about Eastern Europe versus Western Europe?
Well, I would say Western is like, they follow the American culture. They're like, I would say not like the Balkans. We're like more like the Russians, I would say. Each language is like similar, something like that. We eat the same food, same like, I would say culture, because it was Slavs, we just say Slavs. But Western is like really like, I would say, cultural, way bigger than us and way ahead of us in some things, technology and just the economy and stuff like that. We're still, just because of war, I think we're left out, but at least for Croatia, the thing that saves us, I would say, is mostly seacoast and tourism. That's at least what I think. Yeah.
Anything you want to say to the people of America before we tag off?
Yeah, you should be glad because everybody want to party like Americans. So you should be proud what you have.